Okay, so let's see. Okay, fuck. I took some shrooms tonight, 5 grams. I fucked up though. Have them in a smoothie. I left them out for yesterday. Changed my mind, refroze them, took them out again. It just lost some potency for sure. So I'm not euphorically blasted through the sky or anything like that. I don't feel very in touch with like an emotional state or anything very spiritual. I still feel the medicinal value, which is very interesting. Subconsciously, if I choose to try to ignore those things that have been bothering me for the last few days or any of my life stresses or anxieties, I don't really feel the need to ignore them as much. That impulsive kind of runaway fear, like let me just distract myself and do some other shit. It could even just be something small. It doesn't have to be a big life goal or anything detrimental to your health or anything. It can just be, you know, some shit you don't want to do that day. And subconsciously you're thinking about it and it is fucking giving you anxiety and stress. And I'm just trying to fucking cut that shit out of life. But it is literally how we're wired. It is literally how the brain is supposed to operate, you know, and the only way you can stop it is sometimes, I mean, obviously through meditation and like deep-seated thinking and anything that like is similar to meditation, like I suppose religion and exercise, and all about getting the fucking brain to a point of just meditation, whatever meditation even means, Zen, I guess, right? That thoughtfulness or thoughtlessness, I mean, it depends on your version of meditation, but just like when you're in the now, I'm thinking is what it comes down to. And reading a lot of Alan Watts quotes, and this motherfucker just talks about, you know, the illusion of reality. The past doesn't exist at all, and the future, we're just constantly dwelling on it, and how much anxiety and turmoil that causes. Just be so in the now that nothing ever stresses us out. I suppose you need to be able to think about the future to get shit done, to plan shit, you know, trust yourself to be a certain way and to get shit done. Then you don't gotta sit around hyper-focusing on if you're going to or not. You just do it when it happens. And that's maybe living in the moment. It's a little more stressful when you accidentally step outside of the moment and look in and realize, fuck, I'm not planning for anything. But you are probably, you know, if you're a competent person. I don't even know where I was going with it. I'm thinking about this too much now. Honestly, maybe I should just talk about psychedelics. I really think psychedelics should be my thing anyway. I've been doing the movie review stuff. I've been talking about these topics that are just coming to my head. But the truth is that if I care about anything, in all honesty, I think that the way we could change our brains is through psychedelics. It actually is factual. What Shrooms does is it actually, instead of heightening activity in specific parts of the brain, typically like other drugs will, it actually dampens activity in very specific parts of the brain and interconnects the communication of parts of the brain that would not and could not communicate if not under the influence of the psychedelic drug. I really think they might be the most important thing in the world. I mean, you got all these other subcategories of total importance, right? Like raising your children and, you know, not taking out your impulsive natures on your fellow man and, you know, prospering, thriving, staying healthy. These things all matter, but I feel like the key to figuring out the best way to do all of them could be through changing the brain. And how else do you change the brain? Like, we're literally stuck inside of it. Human nature is its own nature. You know, we're inside of human nature. How do you fight it? We read philosophical quotes every once in a while, or we find these little fleeting moments to actually look inside from the outside, and it opens us up for a second, but it doesn't do enough. It doesn't do enough rewiring of the brain. And I know that through the psychedelic nature we could. I guess weed can be psychedelic, and if we didn't abuse weed like we do, smoking it all the time, using it more like a vitamin than a ceremony, then it would probably be a little bit more psychedelic, and that trippy kind of ego-driven paranoia and insecurity that comes from like those first couple of highs ever could probably, if anything, just help you change your life and teach you about yourself instead of being afraid of that experience. Maybe we should definitely stop abusing it. I can't decide. I love to abuse it. It should be an important part of human health and culture, like genuinely a part of society's traditions, where we just maybe once a month, you know, you have a specific ceremony and you go on your journey. Here's the thing, is for the people listening or watching that haven't really had a psychedelic experience, it feels like hippy dippy bullshit. You feel like when you're looking from the outside in, you think of us like maybe I think of the MDMA culture, you know, like just, oh, we're just so fucking blasted that everything feels so good that we're just, there's no problems in life and we're all one and the connectivity is basically an illusion. You know, that's how I look at it because I haven't really experienced it, you know, but it's probably not that. They throw MDMA in the same category as psilocybin and LSD as far as potential medicinal and therapeutic properties. But I genuinely think that the psychedelic experience could be necessary for human growth and evolution. I just think that it can change who we are, how we interact with each other. You really do attach to ideas and feelings and you cope with them in a new way that you typically can't in your day-to-day. And I mean, if rewiring the brain isn't the answer to how we get out of this funk of just confusion and sadness and anger, past and future are complete illusions, and the past resides nowhere but our minds, right? It is literally an oblivious void that we manifest through our thoughts. And then the future is the same thing. Granted, we're going to get there, so it has a little bit more existence in reality than the past, but for the most part, neither one of them exists. And our inability to not focus on the past or future is what gives us anxiety and depression and has us so afraid of death and the inevitable. You need to know where your mental state is before you take a psychedelic. But it is worth knowing because psychedelics could change who you are for the better. I feel like something that powerful could really bring us all together. I mean, just looking at somebody that I don't give a shit about, knowing that they could have felt this way before, makes me give a shit about them. Makes me care about their feelings and experiences. Because now we're the same person, we're connected. Your ability to be okay with that shit and not be annoyed by irritating concepts or things that your brain would typically find frustrating, I mean, that shit is magical. You know, it is about fucking changing your brain's networking, rewiring parts that wouldn't normally communicate, forcing them to, and then using that to change who you are as a person. Your characteristic traits, you know, your emotions, your ego, your sense of self. I don't know if there's anything more important than that. I just really want us to try to take the next step in human evolution, and there's something emotionally, spiritually special about the psychedelic experience. And we all deserve the opportunity to at least understand it a little bit better.